Welcome all. So today we are going to start a new session about introduction to Python as well as it becomes the particular course of machine learning with Python. This series will continue starting from the Python, but it will end with machine learning details about with Python. And in this session today's lecture, it will be the basic installation part of the required softwares, as well as it will give you the basic structure or basic few functions of the Python and how to use it in Jupyter. So let's get started today without losing the time. By the way, my name is Divya and I am the trainer for education. So let's start with today's introduction. So the first part, as I told you, it will be the installation part. So installation part will comes with a practical, obvious reason. Or each session comes with a practical. So after the short presentation, we'll come to the practical. So let's see Anaconda. The first thing we will use in this throughout the session is Anaconda and the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code we will let to use in the later part when we do the machine learning to show you the practical few approaches of the Visual Studio Code, which you can do with the Visual Studio Code in the Python. So that's a purpose. Obviously, Anaconda is there because we are using Jupyter throughout the Python classes. And I will recommend you to use to learn the Python, I will recommend you to use the Anaconda base with Jupyter. Yes, reason Jupyter Lab that I will recommend you to use. So let's see Anaconda. Anaconda, it is not a snake. It is not a snake. It is Anaconda. It is a package of software and which can be downloaded freely from this website. And it actually comes with several data science softwares like Jupyter Lab that we will use. Except with that, it has a Spider, which is a very well-known IDE for Python, and also R, another statistical tool that we use regularly in the data science. Though in this lecture series we are not going to use R, but we have different lecture for that one R course. The Visual Studio Code is that we will use later on, as I promised in the first point of view. So that the part will comes in later. So the thing is, this Anaconda can be downloaded from this source freely. Installation is very simple. Just double click on the .exe file. And if you are Linux or if you are Mac, everybody has a separate file for this one. You can download from the download system. I will show you how to download it. Also, Anaconda nowadays comes with online platform. So I will recommend you, online platform is also free. So I will recommend you not to use online platform for this course. Instead, download it and load it, which is gives you a more comfortable position. It is my recommendation at this moment. Next, it comes with VS Code. Visual Studio Code. It is a well-known IDE for Java, JavaScript. Who are the JavaScript developer in this video? They can easily understand what is Visual Studio Code used for. It is a well-known IDE, so it is a free. It is from Microsoft. It also has the Windows, Mac, and your Linux, so you can download as per your OS and you can install it. And the major advantage of the VS Code is syntax highlighting, which obvious reason and our Jupyter notebook do not have. That's the reason I'm telling you. I will later on, after you understand the Python basic, later on we will use the Visual Studio Code to do the machine learning coding, so you can understand the difference between the code refactoring, and it has a CLI. It is a complete IDE, and it can work with SSH with other server, like if you have a DGX or if you have any other server where the most computation part can be done, you can access through the Visual Studio SSH plugin, which is basically a third-party plugin by Microsoft, and that you can use it and you can connect with the other system, which is very easy. So that's the reason we use the VS Code. Navigation part, because it has a navigation pane in the left side, you can jump and go to the where you want to go. You can easily get the path, so which is very much easy, obvious reason. Snippets like for loop, if loop, who are the Angular JS developer, they know the for tap tap. gives the whole for loops. Just need to edit the variable. So that easiness comes with the Visual Studio Code. And after all, it is a free. Next, the next point comes with our main, the installation is done. So now we go to the concentration to the Jupyter notebook, which we're going to use. Jupyter notebook is a part of the Anaconda. So when you install the Anaconda, Jupyter notebook will install. And Jupyter notebook where we will do the preliminary Python codes over there. I will tell you the reason. The Jupyter notebook is basically a free, comes with Anaconda. You can see the screenshot over here. So which looks like a browser. This one, it looks like a browser open with a localhost, and that is true actually. And when I see the practical, you can see the localhost address. At this moment, you are not able to see it. So after installing the Anaconda, you just click on your start menu and type Jupyter. It will come to the Jupyter notebook. Or what you can do, you can type Anaconda command prompt. Anaconda itself is a command prompt. So Anaconda command prompt, which comes from the Conda. Conda is a well-known Python CLI for Python, writing the Python code basically. You can read it about it. So this Jupyter notebook, and then when you Anaconda command prompt, you can write Jupyter space notebook. It will open the Jupyter notebook. But both are easiest way, but you can use the, I preferably use the press the start key, the Windows key, type Jupyter, enter. That's it for you. This Jupyter notebook it has a syntax highlighting, obvious reason. It has an indentation. You can do the group indentation, you do markdown. You can write your mathematical equation in as a markdown in the cell. I will tell you what is the cell when I do the practical. Run this help to run the code in online, in browser basically. Online, it is in browser. The code runs in a browser. The result the mathematical result you can compute in LaTeX, HTML, PNG, or PDF format easily. That also you can do. Overall, this Jupyter notebook can integrate with the VS Code that help you to analyze the system. So it is really interesting to do that one. The VS Code that I told you that you will use VS Code. But in that VS Code, I will use Jupyter notebook to create the machine learning models and run those. Okay. Now I'm come to the, and obviously the Jupyter notebook gives you the images like this. This is just an old code. It looks like MATLAB, but it's not MATLAB. It's about the similar thing actually. Now in the next part, I will come to the Python. Now the Python, again, a name of a snake, but it is not a snake. Again, it is name of a snake, but it's not a snake. Now, why this Python? The Python, why you learn Python? That's the most important part. The first point is very easy to learn. We're coming to the programming, it's very easy to learn. It has extensive support of the library, like NumPy, Pandas, Django. There's lots of things there. It is open source and it has a large active community base where you can get the support very quickly and efficiently. That is much more effective. It is easy to read, easy to learn, and easy to code actually. It is simple as you're writing a English. As simple as that. Data structure is very user friendly, which means when you're declaring a variable, you will see in the practical actually, when you're declaring a variable in Java, in C++, we need to say it is an integer, it is a float, it is a double, it is a string. In Python, you don't need to say anything else. Just say A equal to this, B equal to this. Python will understand each and everything. That is the power of this Python. That's the reason Python is required to learn for each newbies. And then the high level of language. In this course, we will go a depth of Python so that you can start from the basic, but you will be advanced when you finish this course. There is a presence of third-party modules, obvious. Lots of third-party modules is there. One popular module in the Python is Django. REST API is also there. Now, if you see in the next slide, this slide has a chart till 2022. The Python is the second in position after the Java, but there is a very less difference. Can you see this difference? Very less. Where the third competitor, JavaScript, is far more down. So that's the power of Python. The reason you need to learn the Python. Now, as I told you, the Python has advantage, and you might think the Python do not have any disadvantage. No, actually, Python has some disadvantage, like performances. Python is not an interpreted language. Python is an interpreted. I'm very sorry for this one. Python is an interpreted. So this is slower than the compiled version of C or Java. In C, you can see C++, you can see a .exe type of file can create it in. So then you can run it, which is much more easier, not like the Python. Another important thing in Python is GIL, that we know about, global interpreter lock. And this global interpreter lock mechanism prevent Python to run multiple threads at once. And that actually limits the parallelism of some applications, which is a strongly negative point for Python. That's the reason basically still Python behind the Java a bit. Not I'm saying overall, because you can manipulate GIL, not optimize, you cannot cut it, but you can minimize it. Memory consumption, which is much more complex situation, comes when you are doing a large data set and the large complex mechanism, large algorithm or long complex algorithms. On that time, memory consumption has the basic issues of Python that you can feel when you do the deep learning with the large data set. Trust me, that is happening in Python. In that scenario, MATLAB gives a boost, obvious reason. Which is a component. Dynamically typed, another one dangerous sign for the Python. As I told you, there is a not required of integer float of the data types when you're declaring a variable. The variable can change in runtime. It makes it difficult to catch the error, in which portion it has error. Packaging and version, Python has a large number of packages and libraries which basically conflict with versioning, but I don't think there's too much of disadvantage, because that is also happening in the JavaScript. Because if you have a JavaScript and you install somewhere else, it can be. Last but not the least point, steep learning curve. Now, it can be the confusing terminology before I am telling the last one. As I told you, Python is easy to learn, then how it can be steep learning? The reason behind it, Python is easy to learn, but Python has lots of modules. You need to learn lots of things at a time. So that's the reason. So like if you want to calculate, if you want to read something from Excel and calculate the mathematical part, plot it to the graphical mechanism, then you need to learn NumPy, Pandas. Don't worry about these terminologies. We will go in details about each of them. At this moment, just learn this tree has a packages. So NumPy for mathematical calculation, Pandas to read the data from data frame as a data frame from the Excel, Matplotlib is to plot the data. So for doing a simple plotting, reading a data, plotting this one, you need 3 packages. So you need to learn 3 packages separately. So which is a steep learning curve. So that's the disadvantage. But you get lots of help, so that has advantages. That's the reason I keep the disadvantages in. And what the application of this one, Python? There is a lots of applications. I just listed 4 of them over here. So you can see GUI based desktop application, operating system, web framework and application using Django. And the last one, the graphic design image processing application game. There is the image processing till scientific computational mechanism or mechanics, computational physics, computational mathematics. In there, Python is the must. You have to have a Python. Because data science without a Python I cannot see it. This one. So that's the about brief about Python. You require to learn the Python and what is required for these courses. Now, time for a practical session very quickly. So let's go to the Jupyter. So as I told you, what you can do, you just go to the start menu and type Jupyter, or you can open the Anaconda CMD and start the Jupyter. It will open the CMD command prompt like this, but do not close it. So when you do it, I already open it. So first of all, I will show you how to download this tool. So for Anaconda, what you can do, go to your Google Chrome, say Anaconda download. That's it. So the first one, if you go to this one, you can see this free download. As I told you, start coding now. The cloud coding is available at this moment, but don't do this at this stage. I will tell you, just download it. You can download for 3 things. So you can click here and download it. You can go down and you can see which is included over there, which is really, you can check it out. Conda, as I told you, this is the Conda base. So you can read it over here at and it has the whole Anaconda page, so you can go through and check a bit if you want, but don't worry about it. You can download it. It will be a exe file. So if you click on over here, it will save a exe file for your Windows and 64-bit. So you can just save it and double click it. That's it. No need to do anything else. Same in Visual Studio Code. If you go to this one and say Visual Studio Code, as I search several times, it comes in. Maybe you need to write it. So click on here, you can see you can download it for Windows. So you can, here is the option comes because it's detect that we are using download. You are using Windows, so you can download for Windows, or you can click here to see the all downloads labels. That the page I opened over here. So you can download for Windows, Linux, and Mac. So at this moment, I'm not showing you the Visual Studio Code platform because it is not necessary at this moment. Later on, I will show you. So now you can open the Jupyter notebook using either CMD prompt like this. So you can see the Jupyter notebook I typed over here, or from the start menu, directly press the window button and say Jupyter. It will come in after installing Anaconda. Be careful, my friend. So when you open it, it will open like this. You can see it is a localhost. And this tree comes basically the folder structure gives you. All the folder is readable in which folder Anaconda is installed. Okay. Now the drive where Anaconda is installed. Now if you click on new, you can see what you can create it. You can see the Python 3 is already installed using the Anaconda. So you just click on notebook with Python 3 kernel. Just click on this, it will open a new page for you. Let me reopen it. Jupyter notebook. Maybe. So when you click on new, yeah, this comes in the new kernel page. Okay, so it is trusted, so it is ready. Now the first thing you will do, you will change it. So in this one, I'm changing to tutorial 1, and it will rename your this file name, and it will save to your home page. If you see, there's a lots of page, but I will show you what it will save at the end of this one. Now in Jupyter, this is a Jupyter IDE. You can see it is IDE. Now as default, it comes with code markdown. There is few more I will go to. So this one is called cell. This is called cell. A cell can be converted to the markdown. Write it down something like I just convert this one to a markdown. If you see, if I put it code, it's a IN over here. But if you choose markdown, it goes off. Now here you can use heading, subheading, list, each and everything. Suppose I am telling you this is heading. A single hash is the biggest heading. So I will say basic of Python. Now under of this, I will say today we will learn. Now I give some bullet points. Data types of Python. Data types in Python. In Python. Again, I'm giving you another bullet points. Variables. Variable. Another bullet point. Variable. Elements. Be careful. You need to give a space after this. Otherwise, it will not work. Each cases you need to be a space in markdown. And print formatting. This thing I will learn today. Okay. So if I say just you need to run this cell. In order to run this cell, I will give you one more over here and say 333. In order to run a cell, need to press shift plus enter. You can do the run from here, but handling the mouse as a programmer is really bad. So just say shift enter. So can you see it comes in? And if you see, this is the heading, this is the heading 2 and heading 3, as I means 3. So you can edit it. Again, when after editing, you can press shift enter, it comes in. Now, if you want to put one cell above, when you run one cell, it goes to the second cell automatically. Now, in this cell, what I will do, I need to create a cell. Suppose over here, I say 1 plus 1, it comes 2, but I need one more cell before that. So in that cell, when the cursor is blinking in the cell inside, just press escape. It will see change the color from green to blue in this area, the sky blue. Now click A. A means above. And now press tab or click here and you can write 1 plus 0, thus 10 plus 10. And if you put this, it's 20. Suppose you want to put one cell below of the second cell. Again, the same scenario. If you click over here, you see this is green. This is green. That means it's ready to write something. Escape is sky blue. Press B. B means below of that. Clear? So this is the shortcut to create a new cell above. You can do the same thing from insert. Insert cell above, insert cell below, but using the mouse sometimes in bad. That's the reason I give you this. So now, if I see the Python, as you can see, it is running in the Python. So that's the very basic part, how you use the Jupyter notebook. As I told you in theory that a Jupyter notebook, you can write an equation in the markdown, and that's the way you can write down the equations. As in Python, so this is, after all, after the Jupyter comes in, it is a Python. In Python, can you see 10 plus 10 equal to 20? So just a simple mathematics you can do. So suppose you say 2 divided by 2, and if you just shift enter, it will give you 1. Now, if you say 10 star and put a string str, see str 10 times it will run the str. As easy as that, 10 times. It's very easy basically. Now, I'm trying to check the data types of anything. Here, how I declare variable first. Suppose I want to declare one variable and the values is 10. Just hit enter. Can you see a equal to 10 is done? In C++, what you did? Integer a equal to 10. Now I put a equal to 10.5. Clear? Also, I put a equal to the string which name is bibyn, my first API. Now, again I run this. Now, in between each of this one, I need type. Be careful, as I told you, Python is changing the values of the variable in runtime. So at this moment, the value of a is the pair string. How did you check it? See, if I say type, what is type? Type is a predefined function in Python. Predefined function in Python which gives the type of variable. Here, now if you type type and you say a, you see string str. But in the same scenario, if you run this once and run this, say integer. Now run this using shift enter. Number 11, if you do this, it's a float. So there's a fun. Now what I'm doing, I'm putting escape over here, putting below here type, and similarly escape over here, below here. Now if I run this, so can you see string, float, integer? You no need to define integer a equal to 10, float a equal to 10.5, nothing like that. So it is far more easier, but sometimes it can be harmful as well. Now your question might be, is that only type only can say the variable data type? No. If you say type and if you say 10 integer, if you say type, if you say 10.5 float, if you say type and if you say HSZ array, can you see? It gives you. It is obvious, it will give you. As even if you say there is a few reserved keyword like true. So if you say type true, see, it will be bool. Clear? So that's the way it comes in. Now, as a string comes in this moment, I will tell you how you can declare a string. Now, let's make this one as a markdown and give string string and string. So how a string can be declared? String can be declared inside a single quote, or string can be declared inside a toggle. They both are same. If you put this same, so it will be same. They both are same. But I will suggest you to not to use double quote at this stage. I will suggest you to use the single quote instead of double. So that's my suggestion. And you can do the variable assignments I already told you. And now I am declaring a variable and doing some mathematical operation with the variable. So I am saying hash variable, and if you until the space given, it says nothing. So what I will give, I will create two variables. As I told you, no need to say anything. So I will create 1, I will comment a bit. I'm creating a equal to 50, b equal to 10, nothing else. Now I am doing some command over here, which is print equal to a plus b, a minus b. So a and b is declared. I am doing the operation a plus b, a minus b, a plus b, a divided by b, and a complex formula at a time. Remember, this complex formula comes in a Badmas rule. Hope everybody read it about. In Python, you can do single command line like this, or you can do multiple command line using this. So here you can write, it will be commented. This Badmas rule will follow for complex equations. Okay, so now run this. What is happening? Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Here it should be no problem. That's the reason. This can be the printed. This one is not printed, but this one is printed command. Delete it. Can you see it? With A and B, you get all this one. So that easiness. So you don't need to do anything else. Now, if you say another one important function is print. It displays the result as we do in the print. Also, you can say the print hello world. You can see the print hello world comes in the hello world. Now, there is one more interesting thing. Format. Format is a printing with format is a function. Dot format, using a dot format. This has a syntax. These two syntax you can use. One is details of something, string, and a parenthesis, then dot format with the variable names. I will show you. Don't worry about it. I will show you. Now I create two string variable. I'm just declaring two string variable, my first name and my last name. Very simple one. Now I'm doing dot format first syntax. That means this one. Let's see how this syntax comes like. So print, the print function, inside that what the string it will be? The string need to show my first name is this and my last name is this. That will show. So this first name and last name can be the dynamic. So what I did, my first name is the opening and closing of the parenthesis, and my last name is an opening and closing of the parenthesis. That is in a single quote as we offer in a string. As we offer in the string in this hello world case. And then dot format, call the method dot format, and give the two variable, which two variable will put in these two parentheses. So remember, this first name will go to the first one and last name will go to the last name one, as it is a short case. So if you see this variable, you need to use very carefully, because if you change this sequence, it will change these blanks. That means if you give this last name to the first name and first name to the last name, it will say my first name is last name and my last name is the first name. Let's see how it goes on. So here, if you see that my first name is Deepanarayan and my last name is Hachira, That is correct. It's given it. Now I am using this same thing, but with just changing this last name sequence to the first comma and this. Let's see what is happening. See, this is wrong because it is strictly follow how did you give the sequence of the format input. So that's the matter. But in order to survive from this one, there is a way to call it a second pattern. So this is the second pattern. So in the second pattern, if I use the second one, so I am in the second case, what is happening? It is happening. My first name is parenthesis in one variable called first. This is, I just call first. You can call it anything, X, Y, Z, W. And my last name is last, so that it is fixed. So whatever the first equal to this, it will come to the first one. Last equal to that variable will go to the last one. So it doesn't matter. Let's see. And format is first name and last name. Now if you click enter, if shift enter, you see my Pandipanan, last name is Hajra. You can say, you did the same thing over here. You did it. Why? What is the difference? Let's see the difference now. I did the same thing which I did in this case. I am just changing this last name whole thing to the first comma this and run this. See, still the function is same, where here the function was changed. But be careful, if you change this variable values, then it will be changed again. So there is no use of this. So that's the reason there is a one way to survive. Okay, now one more thing I will show you today. This is the last topic, last function I will show you in this today's session. So what is this? This is the length function. Length function is len. That's it. Len. Okay, so this is the inbuilt function. It will show how many characters is there in a string. It shows how many characters in a string. Clear? How? Let's see. Len bracket double quote or single quote, but I will use single quote. See, 5. So DIVY 3 and plus 2 5. The main font is, if you say Divya NARAYN HSZR 18. Now see how it is 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Also, it will read space as a character. The space as a character. So be careful on it. The len function gives space as a character. It takes space as a character. Clear? So that you need to remember in the len function. The len and the format is very useful for your rest of the courses. Also the type is very much useful when you decode something. If you do not understand, I will show you how the list goes on in the next class. I'm not telling you at this moment to confuse you. Now your point will be, how did I say this saved version? Very quickly. So if you just click Ctrl S, or it will be auto saved. Don't worry about it. Just over here, reload it once. So here, if you see, tutorial 1 is there running. Can you see? So whenever you open this Jupyter notebook, the tutorial 1 will be there with this black color. If you not open, if it is open, then it will be the green color. Clear? So that's it for this one. In the next class, we will show it with we will show it with the more details about list. In that time, not going to Jupyter. So in the next class, we will go with some more data types of the Python. Thank you very much. See you on the next video. Bye for now.